It is every writer's dream to get picked up by a traditional publisher, especially a well-known one. But with all the competition out there, what will make your chances slightly higher than someone else's? Have you ever wondered what a publisher is looking for? I'm going to unpack that question in this week's episode of Answering the Call to Write. Welcome, awesome authors. You are listening to the Answering the Call to Write podcast. I'm your host, Meliza, and this episode is brought to you by Paper Crown Media. Hello, awesome authors, and welcome to this episode of Answering the Call to Write. Today, I'm going to look at traditional publishing and completing book proposals. Once you've got your manuscript ready or you're in the process of writing your book, it's really time to start to investigate your publishing options. And I know it is every writer's dream to get published by an established publisher. So what is going to set you apart from all the other applicants out there? The competition is quite steep. So you need to be prepared and do your research and make sure that you are going to produce something that publishers want to publish. So what is it specifically that they are looking for? So I'm going to break down what you need to know before you complete your book proposal. And if you are able to articulate these points very clearly, you certainly will have a head start in getting accepted by a traditional publisher. Now, the first part of a book proposal will ask some general questions about you and your book. It will ask you for some title suggestions, and pay attention to the word suggestions because a traditional publisher will want to have a say in how you title your book, and not just with your title, with your subtitle as well. So it will ask you for suggestions. Let me just add this one piece of invaluable wisdom. When it comes to putting down a suggested title and subtitle for your book, it's not the time to be quirky or clever or smart. You want to illustrate, even with your title and subtitle, that you understand your core message and you know the problem that you're going to solve for your reader. When I initially wrote Untangled, I had my title from the very beginning, but that subtitle went all sorts of places. And I had to reshape it so that it was speaking to the reader and telling the reader what the book is going to do for them. My original subtitle was quite flowery and very descriptive and talking about the heart of the father, stepping out of your stronghold. But those concepts were so vague and they weren't actually telling the reader what they are going to get from this book. So I changed it to break free from the lies that keep you from your true identity and purpose. So that was a lot more tight. That was actually telling the reader what they can expect once they've read my book and the reason why they should invest in the book. So you want to make sure that you think that through. A lot of people want to be clever with their titles and their book titles. You are not trying to entertain people, you're trying to solve a problem for them if you're writing a non-fiction book. Now, if you're writing a novel, then you can be maybe a little bit more creative. But try and be focused on the problem you are solving rather than just having a lovely, original, creative title. You will also need to have an estimated word count. Now, you will probably still be in the process of working on your manuscript, so just a general estimate will be good. Now, I know most self-help or non-fiction books will go somewhere between 40,000 to 60,000 words. It's always good to do a little bit of research and make sure that you've got a word count that is kind of in the range of what people are looking for in that genre. Very importantly, a traditional publisher will need to know who your intended audience is, and they will ask for specifics. So you need to know who it is that you're writing your book for. what is their gender, their age, and specifically with Christian publishers, they may want to know the spiritual background of your reader as well. You may have heard me say this before, but it is so important that you are able to articulate the problem that you are going to solve for the reader through your book. And you also need to be able to communicate the core message of your book in one short sentence. This is what we call your elevator pitch. Are you able to succinctly explain what it is that your book will do for the reader? And then they may also want you to expand on that. Can you describe how your book will make a difference in the life of the reader? Once they have read your book, how will their life be different? So that is the general section of the book. They will also want to see that you have done your homework and you've done some market research into your book. One of the things that they will ask you is to compare your book to some of the other books that are currently selling in the market. And you want to make sure that you can give them a comparison with some books that are currently quite successful. So you will need to do a bit of research, look at the books that are in your niche, and make sure that your book is comparable to those books. Is it solving a similar problem? Is it speaking to a similar audience? But make sure you can compare your book to at least 3 other books that are currently available and performing well in the market. You may want to look at some books on Amazon and do a research around the best-selling books on Amazon. You may also want to go and look at some traditional publishing houses and look at their books that are performing well, specifically the publisher that you would like to publish with. So if you're a Christian author, like many of our listeners are, and you want to publish with a Christian publisher, they may also ask you questions about your faith, if you're part of a church, how big that church is, and how active you are in the church. So do you actually have an audience there where you are locally attending? In terms of marketing, they will also want to know if you have an audience. Do you have a social media following? Do you have a website? Do you have a blog? Are you actively sharing on social media? Are you growing your audience? Do you have an email list that people can sign up to? How many people are currently on your email list? And what are you doing to grow that email list? They will ask you about your connections. Do you have any well-known connections on TV and radio? Remember that a traditional publisher is investing in you in order to get that book published. They will be investing in everything from the editing to the cover design, to the formatting of the book, to marketing that book to a degree. And they will require you to do your part in marketing your book as well. And I know from speaking to some authors who have published with traditional publishers that they have had to pay back some of the advance that they've received on writing and publishing their books because their books weren't successful in terms of bringing numbers in and making those royalties to cover the fees for editing and formatting and all of the processes that goes into publishing your book. At the end of the day, your publisher is in the business of making money. So they will want to see that you are going to be an active participant in helping them make a return on their investment. So it is extremely important to show them in your book proposal that you are taking all the steps that you need to take in order to market that book, to grow your audience, and to spread that message of your book so that they can also receive a return on their investment. Every publisher wants to know that you have people rallying around you that can endorse you, that will help you promote your book and get that message out there. They will want to know if you have any influential people who are able to write a foreword for your book. They will also want to know if you are just wanting to write and publish a book for the sake of it, or if you are in it for the long haul. Are you hoping to write more books? And are you hoping to establish a brand? So again, it's important to illustrate the fact that you carry a core message, that you know what that message is, that you know what you are doing here on this planet, solving problems for people, and that your message, your identity, and your purpose as an author is clearly defined. If that is something that you need help with, then I highly recommend you download the resource that's in the description below. There's a link. It's called First Steps. It's a workbook that will help you identify that core message and also help you identify your target audience. Most of all, it will help you give some language to these questions so that you are able to confidently answer these questions when you complete your book proposal. They will also want to know if your church is connected to influential people and whether you are moving outside of that church as well with speaking engagements. How often do you travel? How often do you speak at different places? Because it is all about reach. And then they will also want you to clarify your expectations. What are you expecting to see from this book? How would you like to sell the book? Do you have a marketing strategy? Do you have a plan? What actions are you going to take? What connections are you going to take advantage of in order to spread the message that you have just written in this manuscript? And Christian publishers specifically will want you to illustrate how your book is going to affect the lives of the people who read it on a spiritual level. So be prepared to answer some questions around that as well. There is a lot of competition out there, even within the Christian space. And I know we are always told not to compare ourselves, that we are all uniquely created with a unique message. The reality is that there is competition and there are a lot of people looking to break into the traditional publishing world. Now, I know there are so many writers that get discouraged or disillusioned with the process when they receive rejection after rejection. And I want to speak to you, if that is you today, and say, do not give up on your dream to becoming a published author. Now, I know that traditional publishing carries with it a lot more clout and prestige, but that doesn't mean that you should start there. The biggest piece of advice I have for you today is to just start writing and get used to the publishing world. You want to get familiar with the processes. Your first book may not be the magnificent masterpiece that's going to get picked up by a traditional publisher, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't start writing and just publishing for the joy of it and for the learning experience, because as you go through this experience, you're going to learn so much. The most important things that you need to be able to articulate when you look for a publisher is that you know who you are, you know what you carry, and you know who it is for. And that is why this First Steps workbook is going to help you so much. I do encourage you to click on the link below and download it and work your way through that workbook, even before you start writing your book. But then I would encourage you to keep writing and keep publishing. Start small, write a small book and just see how that process works. And you can still be working on your masterpiece behind the scenes, but just get into the process, whether you are writing blogs or writing short novels or guided journals, whatever it is that you are creating. It just helps to get familiar with what it is that you need to know, what it is that you need to do, and what publishers are looking for. The Paper Crown Media subscription is designed to help you be able to put all of these things in place that a traditional publisher will want to see. So we don't only help you with writing a book that is clear and that is targeted towards the right audience, We also can help you understand the publishing process. And if you choose self-publishing, we can help you with that. We also have a publishing arm that do more of a traditional approach, but you will still need to complete a book proposal and you will need to be able to articulate these questions that any other traditional publisher will ask you. The wonderful part of the subscription is that it helps you put all those marketing pieces into place even before you write your book. So we help you establish a presence on social media. We can help you build your audience, set up your website, create funnels, do all of the things that you need to do in order to show to a traditional publisher that you actually are taking the steps to market your message and to broaden your reach. Because at the end of the day, that is what they want to see. It's not just about your amazing message or your brilliant story. It really is about how you can show to that publisher that your message, your story, your book is going to transform the lives of people. It's going to solve a problem, and you know who those people are, and you can clearly articulate how you are going to solve the problem for them. The subscription is only £22 a month. That's around $27 a month. And it includes a training library that takes you through the entire writing process. It explains the publishing processes as well as the options that are available to you through Paper Crown Media. It will also help you put in place all of the marketing demands that any traditional publisher will want to see. The training library is set out in different parts, from writing your book to publishing your book to promoting your book. And we also have monthly masterminds where you can join us live, come with your questions and get some coaching and support. We do a lot of marketing support as well as email support with your writing process. And we offer amazing discounts on one-to-one coaching as well as publishing packages. At Paper Crown Media, we really believe in the message that you carry. We know that it is for such a time as this and that there are people who really need what you have. So we want to help you sharpen that message, make that arrow really sharp so it will hit the target audience. We want to help you define who that target audience is and help you get that message not just in print, but get it into the hands of the people who need to read that message. That is our goal, and we really want to help you shine. If you have any questions about the Paper Crown Media subscription, please drop a line in the comments or send us an email at info@papercrownmedia.com. We really would love to connect and hear more about the book that is in your heart to write, that you've been dreaming about. Thank you so much for listening, and I look forward to hearing more about your message. See you next time, next week, same place. Bye.